What can you say at this point? I mean, what can you say? Congrats to the Lions. I believe first time in franchise history they win a game in Philly. You had Lions fans leaving a Lions banner outside the Rocky statue yesterday or whatever it was. I guess they have to do that because they don't have any of those banners to hang up. And I don't know when they ever will. But, if it makes you feel good to put a Lions banner in front of the Rocky statue, that's fine. Still haven't won a playoff game since 1991. So there's that. I've seen my team do a lot of things. But anyhow, I also saw my team today play like absolute garbage. And that's all I can say about this game. To me, the Eagles lost this game more than the Lions won this game. You have again this week. And I know. So I see Minka Fitzpatrick get a... Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not Minka... Oh, yes, it is Minka Fitzpatrick. A guy who the Eagles could have had. Maybe could have had. No. Not willing to give up as much as the Steelers did to get him. That way to go, Howie. Way to go. You still have that guy Ramsey out there. He's still out there. You going to make a move or you going to watch this thing continue to happen week after week? Anyhow, I'm sorry. Easily distracted. Got the Steelers-Niners game on right now on TV. But yet again, this week, you had drops. You had a touchdown drop by a tight end who didn't play last week. Comes in, has one chance to make a play today, wide open, drops the ball. You had Nelson Aguilar drop a big third down, pass early in the first half, and then fumble a ball when he actually caught the ball. Then he fumbles the ball, and that stops a good-looking drive for the Eagles. You had it's just a hot mess. It's a hot mess. And I get that Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson aren't playing, and I guarantee you if they played in this game, the Eagles win. I guarantee if they played last week, they beat the Falcons. The Eagles are 3-0 right now if they have those two guys on the field. Because these are mistakes that aren't happening with these two. And can someone frickin' wake me up when we finally have a real wide receiver on this team? When those guys come back? Because I am so sick and tired of watching this. And it is unfair in a way because you have a rookie wide receiver in Arcega-Whiteside, you have a young wide receiver in Hollins, you have a wide receiver who just has lost it in Nelson Aguilar. You have a rookie tight end, or a second-year tight end rather, in Dallas Goedert, who's coming back from calf injury. I mean, you have a rookie running back who can't hold on to the football on one drive. And mistakes. They are going to cost you every time. Every time. And I know this game came down to a last play, but if those two fumbles do not occur in the first half of this game, it could be a different game. The Eagles could have won this game. And I know it's that human nature. Everyone remembers the last thing that happened. But this game, to me, was lost in the first half. The first half. On various plays. Nelson Aguilar's drop. Miles Sanders' drop. Nelson Aguilar's drop on third down. Nelson Aguilar fumbling the ball. Miles Sanders fumbling the ball. The Eagles, after they finally get points in the first quarter, oh my God, they're capable of scoring points in the first quarter of a game, and they did what I said in the preview video that I want them to do. Get the ball, go down the field, set the tempo of the game. They should have had a touchdown. Carson Wentz missed a pass there. Should have been a touchdown. Okay? On third down. Didn't get it. Get the field goal. And what happens? Jake Elliott kicks it. I mean, it's his first kick of the game. Why the hell he's not kicking it through the end zone for a touchback? Kicks it to the guy who was benched last week, and he goes back all the way to score a touchdown. That special teams touchdown they gave up, the two turnovers, to me, and I know it was a close game at the end, there were chances. This team lost this game in the first half of this game. They lost the game in the first half. You're down 20-10 at halftime. Those are points that the Lions never should have had. Never should have had. If anything else, those 6 points off the turnovers. Never should have had them. So what happens the rest of the game? And there are lots of factors here. Okay, it's kind of a back and forth game. The second half, Eagles are down 10. They cut it to 3. They block a field goal, and we can get on Doug too for going for it on 4th and 8 with what, 2 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. Instead of kicking the ball there, punting the ball back to the Lions and see what happens. To me, that says a lot about what Doug thinks about this defense, because he didn't trust them at all in that situation. And that's a situation where you have to, normally you see a coach, because they were pinned deep in their own territory. You're basically giving the Lions points right there if you don't get it on 4th and 8. But normally, if you have a coach who trusts his defense, that's a punt right there with 2 timeouts and basically 3 timeouts. That's a punt. Instead, they go for it. They don't get it. Lions get the ball, and oh my God, the Lions, being the Lions, nearly gave the game right back to the Eagles because Prater's field goal attempt was blocked by Malcolm Jenkins. And this is all you needed to know about this game for the Eagles, okay? Malcolm Jenkins makes a huge play, blocking a field goal, picked up by Rasul Douglas, they're in field goal range right there and then, and Malcolm blocks in the back on the return. And there is no way he should have blocked in the back, if I can talk right, blocked in the back on that play, because the guy who he blocked wasn't going to make a play on Rasul Douglas. And, it's all hindsight and whatever. It's a heat of the moment thing. It happens. But he doesn't block in the back there. The Eagles are in field goal range. Now, Elliott still has to make the field goal to tie the game to go to overtime. Or maybe the Eagles get a touchdown and they win the game. Right there and then, though, you're in field goal range. Instead, they get the ball in the 50. Now, still, you have a shot. You have a shot to get in field goal range and tie it up, go to overtime, and who knows what can happen in overtime. But what happens? They go nowhere. They hardly get anything. They hardly get a third down conversion to Aguilar was it. 4th down comes up. And then there's a and this again, this is all you needed to know about the game. They convert on the play to Darren Sproles, and Darren gets called on for pass interference on really a ticky-tack play. I mean, that was soft in my estimation. I know I'm an Eagles fan, but that was soft. And the offensive pass interferences that were called on the Eagles, when you had a Lion grabbing the face mask of Miles Sanders on a return all the way around his head, basically ripping it off, and the referees are looking at it saying, that's all right. But you're going to call ticky-tack pass interference at the end on that big play. You're going to make that call. Okay. I want to check his boxers, see if that referee has Detroit Lions boxers. By the way, I'm not blaming the refs, okay, because the Eagles did it to themselves. Okay, but anyhow, you have 4th and 15. And it was a throw, maybe slightly underthrown by Wentz, but it was there to be had one-on-one, Arcega-Whiteside versus the Lions defender. By the way, Slay out of the game, their best cover corner. They go for it. It's like the hero throw, basically. It should have been caught by Arcega-Whiteside, even though it was a little underthrown. Should have adjusted to that ball a little better. Instead, he drops it. Fittingly, the game ends on an Eagles receiver, on a Eagles wideout drop. Very fittingly. Last week, the game ended because Zach Ertz didn't know where the first down marker is. This week, it ends because an Eagle wide receiver can't catch the ball one-on-one. And this is where the injuries hurt. Because if Alshon Jeffrey's out there, I think Alshon Jeffrey makes that play. One-on-one with that corner. Because I think a veteran receiver, he adjusts to the ball better. He goes up, he makes that grab. The Eagles win the game if Alshon Jeffrey's the target on that play instead of Arcega-Whiteside. But they had to throw Arcega-Whiteside because he's on the field. Why? Because you have the injuries to Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson. And I get it. Teams have to fight through adversity. The Eagles had to do it to win a Super Bowl back in 2017. But you can only go to the well once. How often? And this is a game that, look, you're without your starting two wide receivers, and the backup tight end is still fighting a calf injury. No excuse for him to drop that touchdown. Absolutely no excuse. Beautiful throw by Wentz right there. Guy drops the pass. And again, I get it. I understand. The talk again is going to be Carson Wentz can't get a game-winning drive. And yet again, if you knew anything about football and you saw these plays, you see all these drops and kind of a ticky-tack call there on the offensive pass interference on Darren Sproles. What can you do? If you're a quarterback, it's almost like you put your hands up in the air and say, look, what else am I supposed to do? Oh, overcome the adversity. Overcome the adversity. How many times do you see Tom Brady's receivers dropping passes in key situations? Aaron Rodgers' receivers drop passes. They catch Hail Mary passes. And I don't want to sound like a Carson apologist. I really don't. But it's almost to the point where what can you do? What else does this guy have to do? What in the world else does this guy have to do? Last 2 weeks, there have been 3 touchdown drops. 3 of them. Nelson Aguilar in the end zone last week. Nelson Aguilar, when the team is down, huge opportunity to make a catch, streaming down the sideline. Oh, I lost it in the lights. Easy catch to make. And by the way, he's not a rookie. He's been in the league a few years now, and he drops the ball. Today, again, second-year tight end, Dallas Goedert drops the ball in the end zone. Easy catch to make. Easy. I may have caught that ball, and I can't move very well. But I may have made that catch there that Goddard dropped. And you're watching this game as a fan, and I'm just sitting there. I'm shaking my head. I'm just the hands are on the head all these different times, and I'm just going, you know what? This is a typical Eagles loss. This is a typical Philadelphia Eagles loss. They're a better team than the Detroit Lions. Even with the injuries, they had opportunities to win the game. They get a huge break late because the Lions got a line and have the field goal attempt block. They shoot themselves in the foot with the block in the back. And then they can't win the game. God, thank God they won that Super Bowl. That's all I have to thank God. Because, and again, people wonder why that meant so much to us, because we have to put up with crap like this. For all those years, we've had to put up with games like this, with seasons like this. All those years before we finally got it done. And I'm not going to sit here and say the season's over, give up. I don't think they're going to win on Thursday against the Packers if Alshon and Deshaun are going to be out again. And I would love to see them win every game. It's hard for me to sit here and say that we're going to be 1-3. That's going to be a loss. But there is nothing this team showed me the past 2 weeks with all these damn mistakes and all these just self-inflicted wounds that's going to show me that they're going to go to Green Bay to hallowed Lambeau Field next Thursday night and beat a red-hot Packers team. And on that side of the coin, this is the type of game the Eagles win, right? Because everyone thinks they're going to lose. It's the games everyone thinks they're going to win, they lose. Everyone thinks they're going to lose, they win. I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, this team's got to show me something on Thursday night. Because these last two games have been frustrating beyond frustration. 2 winnable games. Winnable games. And the old saying is you can't win a division title in September. You can lose one. You can lose one. What was the mantra going into this season? We want that home field advantage. We want to get back to that home field advantage. Get that home field advantage. Home field advantage. We're 1-2. Dallas is 3-0. And yeah, they haven't really played anybody. But today the Eagles played a team they should have beaten in the Lions. Absolutely should have beaten them. Last week, they had chances to beat a Falcon team that I still don't think is that good. Look, they lost in Indianapolis today. Yeah, Festive called the game. That's right, Festive. Just too many mistakes. Too many mistakes, and it's across the board. It's across the board. I don't think there's anyone who's really let off the hook on this one, including the coaching staff. I mean, again, these third down defenses with the picket fence, and they're lucky. They're very lucky that this game even came down to that last play where it did. Because if Matt Stafford puts a little more air on the ball in the one throw, that's a first down to Jones. And then he basically throws Galladay out of bounds on the other third down play. I mean, this defense, again, man, when you need them to make a play, when you need them to make a stop, here comes another big first down. Here comes another big play. And I understand there's injuries on the defensive line. I get that. The defensive tackle, yet again, Eagles go through, they can't get a sack. They can't get a sack. They get some pressure on Stafford, just not enough. Darby burnt in the first half. I mean, it's just over and over. And I mean, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're licking your chops to play this team this Thursday night. Licking his chops to play this team. Some of those throws that weren't made the last few weeks, Aaron's going to make those throws. And I don't know exactly how good the Packers are because it's early. Who knows? But, I mean, right now, they're better than the Eagles. That's going to be probably a win because they're at home. It's a short week for both teams. I get that, but they're at home. Eagles got to go there. Last 2 weeks, the Eagles have just kicked themselves in the groin over and over again. And I can't see this not still happening on Thursday night. I mean, you have even less time to prepare for the team. And you got to go on the road. And if Jeffrey, obviously Jackson's definitely out. But if Jeffrey's out, now you got to rely again on Aguilar and Hollins. And I'll take a Whiteside. Again, you have to count on these guys to make plays. And I know you have Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, whatever, but yeah, the wideouts are absolutely scary to me. I mean, they don't scare anybody. They're scary to us, Eagle fans, but they don't scare any defenders. They're not scary at all to the defenders who are covering them. And yeah, Aguilar rebounded in the second half, 2 touchdowns. He made a nice play on the first touchdown, spun away, held on to the ball, which was good, which is what he should have done in the first half. But he spins around, he gets a touchdown, and he scores again later in the half. Give him some credit, but at the same time, way too many. He's just so inconsistent. The big drops at the worst times, third down drop, then a fumble. And I will say this also, I don't like this. I do not like the rotation for running backs. I really don't, because there is no, you don't let anybody get in any kind of rhythm. I mean, today I felt was a game where you had to give the ball to Jordan Howard for a few reasons. And you saw the one drive when they were moving early, Jordan Howard was making some plays. He ran over a guy. Jordan Howard, who is, I don't know why they seem to just not trust the guy at all. To me, it's just it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, for one thing, he knows the Lions. He was on the Bears the last few years. He knows that defense. He knows that how Patricia plays his defense because he went up against him twice last year. I would have featured Jordan Howard the whole game. You give something here or there to Sanders, something here or there to Darren Sproles. But today was a game you give the ball to number 24. You give the ball to Howard. He ran hard when he had his opportunities. I mean, Miles Sanders fumbles the ball. The rest of that drive, it would have been all Howard and Sproles. And they were so lucky to get away with that, and then they kept him in there, and he fumbles the ball again. One drive, he fumbles twice. Get your veterans in there, let them make plays. You have Howard, you have Sproles. I'm not saying you never use Miles Sanders again, but I mean, this was a game you needed to give the ball more to number 24. You needed to give the ball more to Jordan Howard. Again, the rotation of this running back, I don't like it. I do not like it because I don't think any of them have a feel for the game. Because it's like one of them's in, and then they bring the other one. It's like, just have a drive where you have some sort of cohesiveness with a running back in there. And I'm not going to say that Miles Sanders is a bust. I'm not even going to say Arcega-Whiteside's a bust. So I haven't seen him enough. But damn it, man. When the hell is this team ever going to draft an impactful receiver? All these years. It's been since Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy Maclin. How many years ago was that? Every time they draft a receiver, there's just no impact. See, all these other teams drafting receivers that have impact. We can't draft one to save our life. And even when there's a receiver there that was available to be drafted, that the Eagles could have drafted, that you see on another team making impact with that team, they pass him over. I mean, if you draft better impact receivers when your veterans get hurt, you can still make do. You know, and the jury's still out on Dallas Goedert. And the jury's still going to be out on Sanders and Arcega-Whiteside. But it's like, damn, man. I mean, this game in a nutshell. My God. Goddard drops an easy touchdown. Arcega-Whiteside makes a big, on the last, and it was a contested play, but what was his MO coming in from Stanford? He's real good again with the contested plays. Another drop. Another freaking drop. And it is. I know it's overreaction. Maybe it's early. I mean, they're 1-2. It's not like the season's over. Even if they lose to Green Bay, I don't think the season would be over because you will be getting Jeffrey and D-Jax back, and the game after that's against the Jets at home. Which, if they lose that game to the Jets, that will definitely be cause for panic on Broad Street at that point. My God, what are they on, like their fifth quarterback at this time? Speaking of injuries, Dillard gets hurt. I know Peters had an illness, but he played through it. You had Barnett was out for a time with ankle, but he came back, played the rest of the game, I believe. So okay, but the Dillard injury is a big one because we all know Jason Peters doesn't stay healthy. I mean, and look, the guy's played many years and whatnot, and but he can't stay healthy. And behind him is Vaitai, and I know they won a Super Bowl with Vaitai there at left tackle, and he performed really well in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. But man, and I don't know how severe an injury there was. It looked bad. I mean, he was rolled up on. It's a knee. It's an offensive lineman with a knee. And I know he's a rookie, and I get that, but that's not good. And look, I mean, this season, if this season goes in the opposite direction, it's about the lines. It's these injuries, man. I mean, the defensive line, 2 defensive tackles go down. Now you lose, depth on the O line, and that's not good. You can only overcome so much. You really can, and it's hard. 2 starting receivers out, and I don't know how long D-Jax is going to be out for, because there was some talk that he was asked to get surgery, which would have kept him out 6 weeks, and he turned it down because he wants to, tough through it and play, but if he does play and he re-aggravates it, it gets worse, he could be out for most of the season. And that's scary because he's the deep threat. And you see the absence of him and how it affects this team. You just see it. You see it in their offensive flow. You know, it's tough. You saw it last year. You saw what a big difference it made last year. The year before when they had Torrey Smith, not that he had an all-pro season, but just his threat on the field. You saw how it opened up that offense that year and how they were performing. And you saw the difference last year without that deep threat. And so far, through 2 weeks, without that deep threat. It's a big difference. And that's a huge injury. And if he's out for a prolonged period of time, you know, even getting Jeffrey back, I mean, it's a problem. It's a problem. I don't know if there's anyone out there that Howie could trade for or whatnot, but, you know, if Torrey Smith, they want to bring him out of retirement, I don't know. But it's a problem. And if this injury to Deshaun Jackson is going to keep him out for a much longer time, that's going to be a problem. Or if he comes back too early and re-aggravates and is out for the season, that's going to be tough. That's really going to be tough for this offense to overcome it. So, you know, I'm nervous about that. I really am. And it's not like D-Jax has been healthy most of these years. He can't play a 16-game season. I mean, and that's the risk that you get for bringing in a veteran who has some injuries, you know, in his career. You know, it's a risk-reward type thing. I mean, when he's on the field, he's great, as we saw in week 1. But then there's that risk of him getting hurt. You know, and he got hurt real early in that Atlanta game, and he was out for the game in now a couple weeks. He's going to miss. He already missed today, and he's going to miss Thursday at least. And we'll see what happens when we get to that week against the Jets. Now maybe that game they can kind of overcome it, and because the Jets are just. I mean, I say this now, as we haven't played them, but they're a disaster. But you got to go to Minnesota. You have these tough games, and I mean, I don't even know if I can even look at an opponent at this point and say they're not a tough opponent, because the Eagles keep shooting themselves in the foot every week. Drop passes, bad penalties. Defense is not getting off the field on third down. Fumbles, turnovers. No turnovers today by the Eagles defense, by the way. After 3 last week. They got if you want to call the block field goal a turnover, okay, but that's on special teams. Just not enough, not good enough. And I do worry about this defense, I really do. Even if we get, once we get Jeffrey and D-Jax back, I still worry about this defense. And as I said in that video last week, I want Howie Roseman to make the trade for Jalen Ramsey. I don't care if it takes 2 first-round picks to do it. I don't care. I want a shutdown corner on this team. And yes, he's only one player. He doesn't play the defensive line. He's not a receiver, although he could probably catch the ball better than some of these guys can. But that is a move that Howie's got to make. He didn't get Jadeveon Clowney. He didn't get Micah Fitzpatrick. You have to get Jalen Ramsey. And I watched Joey Shakes' video yesterday, and he said that Howie offered a 5th-round pick for Jalen Ramsey. Are you kidding me? If that's true, what in the hell happened to Howie, man? Trader Howie, right, man? Mr. Aggressive, go get it done. I don't want to hear any excuses. I don't. Because right or wrong, after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, Doug Peterson with the, this is the new norm. And if this is the new norm and you see the problems that your team has and you're not going to address them, like I said before, go across the street because you belong in the Phillies front office. Period. End of story. I don't want to see and I don't want to hear about excuses. This team has aspirations to be a team that's going to contend for Super Bowl championships, plural. I know they're not easy to win. God knows we know that. But this team has put themselves up on the pedestal, right? and talked about how it means that to them to win and what they want to do. And if you have an opportunity to get a game-changer cornerback like a Jalen Ramsey, you damn well better do it. I don't want to hear excuses. And I damn well sure don't want to see him going to another team because they were able to offer him more than your new norm GM could do. Because they were willing to make the extra step to get it done. So if a team like Seattle or Kansas City or God forbid Dallas or New England goes out and gets him, because they were willing to take the extra step, the extra pick, or whatever it costs to get a premier quarterback, and Howie Roseman's just sitting there resting on his laurels and saying, we're okay. We got Darby. We're good. We're going to get Jalen Mills back at some point. The Green Goblin. We'll be fine. No, you're not. No, you're not. Yeah, and it's easier said than done. I get that. I'm not a GM. I don't sit in the front office. I sit on a couch watching a game. But I know the problem of this team. I see the problem every single damn week. And these cornerbacks on this team, it is borderline unwatchable how they can't cover. Ronald Darby cannot cover. Rasul Douglas, when he's in there, cannot cover. Sidney Jones, still a young player, has problems, and it's not just the corners, it's this philosophy you're just giving these receivers all these yards right off the bat as soon as the ball is snapped. Oh. The soft coverages. But again, getting a Ramsey, it is a huge need for this team. Huge need. And is that going to be it? I mean, is that going to just propel them to the Super Bowl 54 this year? Look, they still have to play the games. They still have to get guys back healthy. But you get Jalen Ramsey, that's a huge get. And that also shows your team that you're committed to this thing. Right? What I say about the Phillies the last few years. The front office showed their team that they just weren't committed. They didn't go out and get the pitchers that they should have gotten. They basically threw their hands up in the air and said, well, it's, we're not willing to go all the way, so, whatever. It's okay. Frickin' McPhail, if we don't, we don't. God damn it. Ugh. So, Howie, don't tell me you're turning into frickin' Andy McPhail. Okay? Get it done. Get it done. I don't care. Get it done. I don't want to hear excuses. Now, they're in a tough spot right now. They are. They're in a tough spot. They got to go to a tough place to win, even when you have all your weapons on the field. And there's a possibility they're going to have to do it without, again, your two top receivers, Jackson and Jeffrey. But you know what? Again, no excuses, because we saw this team win with injuries back in 2017. And again, you can't continue to do it, I know. But no excuses. Get it done, man. When there are plays to be made, you are a pro. Okay? You're not in college anymore. You're not in high school. You're a pro. Make the damn catch. And Carson Wentz puts a pass there to be caught. Here's something. Catch the ball. Because the last thing you want to see this Thursday night is for this offense getting off the field quick and for Mr. Discount Double Check to get on there, for extra drives, for extra time. Because he can pick you apart, and I have no idea how this defense is gonna slow down that offense. I have no idea. I mean, stranger things have happened, but I have no idea how the heck they're gonna. Because if they don't get the pass rush on Aaron Rodgers, again, those throws that we saw missed the last few weeks, he's not missing them. He's not missing them. So, unfortunately, I got the score right of this game, but unfortunately, it was the other team with the 27 and we had the 24. Eagles go down 27-24 to the Lions. They dropped a 1-2 on the season. Things look bleak right now. It is early. I know we're not even in October yet. We're not through a month of the season yet, but we're 1-2 and we got to go to Green Bay on Thursday night. But look, no excuses here. The Packers aren't going to feel bad for us if the Eagles have their two top wide receivers out of the game. The Eagles still got to find a way to get it done. They got to find a way to get it done, get the 2-2, come back. Hopefully guys start coming back healthy from the injury list, and we take on a Jets team that we should beat. And if that happens, they're 3-2 and things are looking better than they are right now. Hell, if they win Thursday night, things are looking a whole lot better than they are right now. But I have my questions and concerns about this game Thursday night. I really do. And I don't blame Eagle fans if they say this is just going to be a loss, because what have we seen the last 2 weeks to prove to us that this team can beat the Pack? They lost to the Lions today. And I don't think the Lions are a horrible team, but I mean, they basically all but gave that game up at the end, and we couldn't take advantage of it. Disappointing. There were opportunities to win these last 2 games, and the Eagles couldn't do it. And it's disappointing. It's frustrating. I'm angry. I'm angry at the performance of the play. And are they supposed to be on the field right now? No, because Jeffrey and Jackson should be out there. But when you have a chance to make a play, damn it, make a play. All I'm asking is when you're in a big-time situation late in the fourth quarter and there's a play to be made, make a play. Damn it, make a play. And it was a ticky-tack offensive call on Darren Sproles. I'm not sitting here. I will say this, though. These referees are the absolute worst. I have never seen referees as bad in the NFL as I've seen the last few years. It is ungodly bad. Ungodly bad. And Goodell better damn well do something. He won't. But he better damn well do something about it after this season. It is pathetic. Pathetic that these referees are allowed to have the game in their hands over and over and over again. I'm not just saying with the Eagles. I'm saying all across the board. Horrible. Horrible calls. Horrible non-calls. How in the world? I still cannot understand how you missed that face mask. That is absolutely atrocious. Atrocious. Did it cost the Eagles the game? No. But what the hell? You're going to call a ticky-tack offensive pass interference. You're going to miss that? The helmet being wrapped around the guy's head and taken off and thrown aside, and it's, what? No. What happened there? Nothing happened there. But you're going to see a little hand game with Sproles and the receiver, and that gets called? Really? God damn it, man. Check that ref's driver's license. Is he from Michigan? And again, I'm not blaming the refs for this game. I'm not. The Eagles made way too many mistakes. But for God's sakes. Anyhow, that's it for me. I've went on near 40 minutes. I'm sorry. It's frustration. I'm a fan of this team. I want this team to succeed. And when there are games that are there to be able to win, and they can't make the play, can't make the big catch. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch a game like this when there's so many mistakes. And this coming off the last game last Sunday night when there was mistakes. Nelson with the big drop. That would have been the go-ahead touchdown. And this is 2 straight weeks. And it doesn't get any easier and it doesn't get any better because, again, Jeffrey and Djax might not play. Well, Djax definitely won't. Jeffrey might not play the Green Bay game. And now, again, we're relying on these receivers to make plays that they haven't been able to make in 2 weeks. Hey, no one feels bad for us. I get that short week. Got Green Bay. Find a way. Find a way. If not, they're 1-3. And I don't think it's a death march, but I'm not feeling good about anything if they go 1-3. Absolutely. I don't feel good about anything right now at 1-2. 1-2 is tough to swallow. 1-3 is going to be even worse. Maybe they'll surprise and win that game. You know what? It's like I said, when everyone picks against the Eagles to win a game, they somehow find a way. So they got to somehow find a way. You know what? They have to man up now and find a way to get a win in a tough place to get a win in Green Bay, but find a way. Anyhow, that's it for me for Festive. That's it's another L this week. It's 1-2. It sucks. Winnable game. It is what it is. Suck it up. I guess the only good thing is a short week. Don't have to go the full week thinking about this one because you got Green Bay on Thursday night. I don't think it's going to be fun. I don't feel good about this game, but we'll see. Stranger things have happened. I've seen this team win games that no one thought they had a chance of winning. We'll see what happens. So anyhow, it's hard to say it now. It really is, but go Birds. And I'll see if I can put a video together before the Green Bay game. If not, you'll see me again after the Green Bay game. And the season of the Fan Series continues. Rolling on now to week 4, a short week, but week 4 at Green Bay. Fun. But 27-24, Lions over Eagles. Winnable game. It sucks. 2 straight winnable games they couldn't get done. I just hope it doesn't come back to cost them in the end, but I have a bad feeling, but we'll see. Anyhow, bye.